Welcome to Lucky Dog and Friends, where Austin, a blind boy, and his service dog, Lucky, meet Joan of Arc. Rain poured from the sky as Austin and Lucky searched for shelter on a muddy path. Thunder rumbled as they spotted a small cottage with smoke rising from the chimney. A girl stood in the doorway, her dress soaked but her smile warm and kind. "You look cold," she said. "Come inside before the storm gets worse." They followed her in, shaking off the rain as Lucky wagged his tail. "My name's Joan," she said, handing them a dry cloth. She didn't know it yet, but one day, the world would remember her name.
Look, Lucky, there's a house on that hill. Hello, and there, is anybody home?
Joan opened the wooden door wide and smiled kindly through the storm.
Come in from the rain and warm yourself by the fire.
Austin and Lucky stepped inside, shaking off the cold as the fire crackled nearby. All of a sudden, there was a knock at the door. It was our good friend Sloth from episode 2.
Can I come in? I saw you invited 2 of my friends inside earlier.
Yes, please do. You are going to catch cold. Try to get some sleep, boys. Tomorrow you will be my farmhands. We have a lot of work to do.
The rain tapped gently on the roof as the fire burned low. Austin and Lucky and Bartholomew curled up on a soft blanket near the hearth. They slept all night, safe and warm inside Joan's quiet cottage.
Hey, Sloth. How did you get here anyways?
Well, you see, there was this big funnel cloud. I saw you go in, so I was curious and I followed you in. But I see we are not in Hollywood yet.
That's okay. Maybe you can keep jumping with us until we get you to Hollywood.
Little did Joan realize she was put here on Earth at this time to do great things. Joan was chosen to help drive the English out of France and make sure the true king, Charles VII, was crowned. Even though she was just a teenage farm girl, she believed God had a special job for her, and she bravely stepped forward to do it.
A bright light filled the room, and Joan stood frozen in awe. Before her appeared a shining figure. "I am Michael, protector of God's people," he said, his voice strong and calm. "You have been chosen to lead and bring hope to your land." Michael looked at Joan with eyes full of light and said, "You have been chosen to help save France and lead her people with courage. You must go to the king and tell him you are sent by God. With faith and bravery, you will help him become the true ruler of France. Trust in your faith, Joan. God will be with you every step of the way."
Where is Joan going?
According to my encyclopedia, she is going to see the king.
Wait, where did you get Wi-Fi?
No Wi-Fi yet. The full download, would you like to play Candy Slush?
Joan's father came home from the market, smiling and full of stories, but his smile faded when he saw she was gone. A neighbor said Joan had left in a hurry after a strange vision. He dropped his basket, shocked that she went to see the king.
"Who are you guys?" asks Joan's father.
I am Austin, and this lumbering giant is Sloth, and don't forget my service, Dog Lucky.
She's chasing fairy tales. She is going to get herself in trouble.
We have been out here all day, trying to plow the field, but this steer won't move.
Just as bull-headed as Joan,
Without delay, Joan rushed to the castle. She felt like all of France was counting on her. The roads were long and muddy, but she didn't stop. Villagers watched as she passed by with purpose. She prayed as she rode, asking God to guide her. Nothing could stop her.
Ho there, young maiden, where are you off to in such a hurry?
I seek audience with the scribe. I need to send a correspondence to the king. I am on an urgent mission from God.
Don't you have any dolls to play with? I mean, you are out here by yourself, and do you even know what you are telling us?
Jim and his brother Seth were official knights of the small township. The brothers looked at each other, trying not to laugh. The scribe will think this is funny, Seth whispered. Maybe, Jim replied, but we still have to help her. They didn't delay and led Joan through the castle halls. Guards stared as she walked past with her head held high. The scribe looked up in surprise as they entered the room. She looked young, but her eyes were full of bravery. She said, "I have a message from God for the king." Joan held her head high. The scribe looked up as they entered, raising an eyebrow.
To be continued, her story of high adventure was just getting started.
Thanks for watching.
This is the end of the first chapter of Austin and Lucky Dogs, 3-part series of Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orleans.
In this chapter, Austin and Lucky had never seen anything like her. Dressed in armor, riding a strong white horse, and holding a flag high in the air, she looked like a hero from a storybook. Her name was Joan, and she said she was just a farm girl until she started hearing voices from heaven. Those voices told her to help save her country and lead an army. Even though some people didn't believe her, Joan never gave up. She was brave, honest, and full of heart, just like Austin and Lucky. Now, their paths have crossed, and together, they're about to make history. Find out in Chapter 2 of Lucky Dog and Friends.
Two knights of Domremy Seth, and Jim pushes open the heavy door, sunlight slicing across the floor. Behind him, Joan steps in, dirt on her boots.
Who is this girl?
Not just a girl. She says she hears God. She says she's meant to lead France in victory over the English.
The scribe eyes Joan, not with ridicule, but caution. He's seen enough to know truth wears strange clothing.
Take her outside, indefinitely. Maybe she will get bored and go home.
3 days had passed, and she still wouldn't go. Seth sighed and rubbed his head.
Well, Jim, we can't wait forever. If she won't go, we need someone who saw what happened.
I heard there were 2 out-of-towners who saw the whole thing. You can find them at her father's farm.
Send a royal summons to them, immediately. This girl might not be crazy after all.
Meanwhile, back at Joan's farm, the sun was high and it was time for lunch. Joan's father placed warm bread and cheese and roasted chicken on the table outside. Austin brought fresh water from the well, wiping sweat from his brow. They all sat down under the tree, thankful for a quiet moment to rest.
There's that cat again.
Hello, Austin. Can I have a piece of your tenderly roasted chicken viddle, please?
Sure, you can have some.
Thank you, you just made a valuable friend.
Did you guys escape from the circus or something? You look like court jesters. You know what, never mind, I have a summons for you too. Oh, and you can bring your dog, follow me.
What do we do?
I don't know, my mom told me not to follow strangers.
Joan needs us, let's follow him and see where he takes us.
The journey from Joan's farm in Domremy to the nearby fort took 3 long days. The messenger and Austin rode their horses, and Sloth and Lucky made sure Austin was sure-footed through winding dirt paths and quiet farmlands. They passed sleepy villages, thick woods, and fields full of golden wheat. Sometimes they had to walk when the trails got too steep or muddy. At night, they camped under the stars, taking turns keeping watch. By the 3rd day, the fort came into view, and they knew they were close to the truth. Joan stood tall, now dressed in men's clothing, strong boots, a thick belt, and a tunic like a young squire. She looked more like a knight already, even before putting on any armor.
These must be the 3 rapscallions everyone's been talking about. Court jester, clown bear, and a little doggy too.
Wait, what is this? Look how they are dressed. It is like we are going from bad to worse. Is it true? You guys fell from the sky and you have a thinking chest that tell you the history of everything.
It's an electronic notebook. It runs on sunlight, but I can't tell you what's in here. It would be very bad for the space-time continuum. If someone from the 1400s saw what's in here, it could change history. One tiny mistake might make the future explode. Not with fire, but with confusion. People could disappear. Buildings might never get built. And who knows, maybe I'd never even be born.
Tell us, when Joan had her vision, what did you witness?
It happened in the meadow. A bright light came down from the sky, and Joan dropped to her knees. I saw her looking up, talking to someone we couldn't see. The air felt warm, like summer, even though it was cold. Then she stood up, calm and strong. I knew something big had just happened.
Joan was standing still like a statue, then boom! A flash of light right above her head. I almost dropped my honey pot. She talked to the sky like it was an old friend. Even I stopped what I was doing. That moment was real.
Jim and Seth, the 2 knights, watched as Austin, Lucky, and Sloth practiced their circus act. If you're going to pass as performers, Jim said, you'd better look the part.
Can you tell us any jokes?
The year was 1147. Me and my dog Lucky traveled through time. We met Robert de Crayon, leader of the Knights Templar, brave and wise. Though I was blind, Robert saw great courage in me. He let me ride with him, teaching him about honor and faith. I learned to listen closely, guide a horse, and trusted my heart. From that day on, he carried the lessons of a true knight wherever I went.
And me? I'm just a lone brown bear, big and slow. I didn't know much about knights or where they go, but Austin took my paw and showed me the way, taught me the knight's code we follow each day. Be brave, be kind, and stand for what's right. Even a bear can walk in the light.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. But you need to tell more realistic riddles, even though what you say is true. You and your bear are not fit for battle. Try these on for size. Why did the knight always carry a pencil? Because he wanted to draw his sword. What do you call a dog that can do magic? A labracadabrador. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts. That should fit you both just fine.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned as Joan helps King Charles VII claim his crown to the throne.
Austin and his dog Lucky had never seen a girl in armor before. She stood tall on her horse, leading the soldiers with courage. The battlefield was loud and scary, but Joan didn't back down. She lifted her flag high and shouted for everyone to move forward. Austin held Lucky close, amazed by her strength and spirit. That day, they knew. They were watching a hero in action.
Joan knows she has been chosen by God to help save France. But there's one problem. The king doesn't know who she is. Nobody will let her near him without proof. That's when Austin, Lucky, and a kind old scribe come up with a plan. The scribe listens to Joan's story and writes a special letter to Charles, the Dauphin.
Let's go see the scribe.
Joan, you are dressed like a man, and all if you are going somewhere. No need to remind me. This sounds impossible. But I will grant you my wishes to see our would-be king.
The letter says, "A humble maid has heard from heaven. She brings hope for France. Let her speak with you." Now it's up to Joan and her new friends to deliver the letter, get past guards, and reach the castle. But the road is full of danger. Soldiers, muddy paths, and people who don't believe a girl can be a warrior. Can they get the message into the right hands? Will the king believe what Joan says? Only one way to find out.
Jim and Seth. So you are brothers, am I right? You vouched for her, so you are going with her. You are responsible for her safety.
Yes, as you command.
This way, Joan, follow us.
After riding for 2 long days, the group was tired but hopeful. They were just 1 day away from reaching Château de Chinon, the grand French castle where they hoped to meet the king. The path ahead was quiet, but danger still lingered. Bandits were known to hide in the woods nearby, waiting for travelers to pass. Not wanting to take any chances, they found a safe place to rest for the night. They kept a small fire low and took turns keeping watch. The stars above were bright, and they prayed for a peaceful night before their final ride.
Who can say, "I love you" 3 times, really, really fast?
Don't sneak up on us like that, Jim said, stepping back. We almost drew our swords, added Seth. There are bandits in the woods, you know. You look more like a dancing machine than a bandit, Jim joked.
I'm looking for this place called Disco Inferno, Detroit, Michigan, 1974.
I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to be a security guard. Movies, music. Maybe I will get to see a show.
Alright, he can stay the night, but he has to leave at sunrise.
You're going to Hollywood. That's groovy, man.
I am going to be a flashlight cop. I can see you. That's my speed.
I am a fashion designer. I make far-out clothes for the village people. I use bright colours, shiny fabric, and wild ideas to match their music. My outfits helped the band become super famous on stage and in movies.
You make cool clothes for famous people and travel the world doing it. That sounds like an exciting career.
I know who you are. Joan, the Maid of Orleans. You're the one leading armies and standing up for what's right. Who could have a better job than that? I am very proud to be here tonight.
There's that cat again.
Hello, Austin. May I have some of your tasty taters with the sour cream and chives?
Sure, you can have some.
Thank you. You just made a valuable friend.
By noon the next day, they finally arrived at Château de Chinon. The tall stone towers rose above the trees. The sound of horses' hooves as they crossed the old wooden bridge. Everyone was tired but excited to be there. They hoped the king would listen to what Joan had to say.
I must speak to the Dauphin. He is the true king of France.
The Dauphin is inside, but he's in disguise for his safety.
God will show me who he is. You, sir, in the back, please come forth. My lord, you are the true Dauphin of France.
What does God ask of me?
You are the one chosen to lead, and I am here to help you win your crown. He asks that you trust me, and together we will save France.
While Joan slept in her tent, the soldiers stood ready. The enemy attacked in the early morning mist. The French soldiers fought with courage and strength. They pushed the enemy back from the walls. Trumpets sounded as the first battle was won. Joan woke up to the sound of victory cheers. She stepped outside, confused by the noise. A young soldier ran up to her, smiling. Joan stood still, amazed by the news.
Sire, we lost Orléans.
You mean to tell me we lost one of our greatest cities to a 17-year-old girl, armed with nothing but a prayer? This is no maid. She's a storm in armor. And why is she not on my payroll?
Where is Austin and Lucky?
They are outside. They left this goodbye card. They said they have to ride a storm.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned next time as we get Bartholomew to Hollywood and we get to dine with Howard Hughes.